preserving and protecting our seabirds. Learn how to rescue. Kids and Critters goes down on the farm with a couple of pigs. And you'll meet an adorable little terrier. That and more right now. Welcome to another edition of Animal Outtakes. Zeus and I are so glad that you joined us, aren't we, Zeus? We start off with a real-life preserve and protect lesson, rescuing our precious seabirds. Here in Florida, we are lucky to have some of the most amazing seabirds in the world. And when they're sick or injured, we're even luckier to have folks like David Turner at Save Our Seabirds and these volunteers in training to teach us what to do.
I have been a rescuer for about 15 years, and I've taught this class, I don't know, several dozen times. And hopefully, after we spend 2 or 3 hours today, you'll be better equipped to recognize distressed birds in the environment and know what to do safely for you and for the bird.
Good morning, Save Our Seabirds. Benjamin speaking.
Save Our Seabirds gets about 4,000 calls a year, and it's up to volunteers like these to step up to help out.
So this is the R, the first R of the 3 R's of this organization: rescue, rehabilitation, release. And I think rescue is the most interesting. There's really no book on rescue technique. A lot of it is just you learn by doing, and you learn from other people. I was taught by a rescuer back in 2001 who had been rescuing for 15 years. He told me many little tricks of the trade, and I try to pass those on.
David has acquired many tools over the years, as well as some basic common sense.
Some of the most basic things you have to remember when you rescue birds is that we want to rescue the bird safely. It's pointless to a bird with line around his leg to break his wing as you're catching him. And it's also important that you don't get injured too. Gloves are essential. These are some heavy-duty gloves. I use these for rescuing hawks and different birds of prey. I always wear my sunglasses because often birds will tend to peck at you, especially great blue herons. I also bring, this is almost a piece of safety equipment, because this way you can get close to birds without threatening the bird and also being in a safe distance.
Sometimes it's a fairly easy fix.
If the bird has a superficial hook, and it's not in the joint or it's not in the neck, if it's just a bit in the flesh here, we push the hook through, cut the barb off, back it off, take a look at the bird, check his wings, check his pouch, and if he looks good, we'll let him go, treat and release.
And if you're not up to becoming a full-blown rescuer, there are things you can still do.
The best thing to learn, especially for some of you who will not go out and become rescuers, will just be kind of sighters, and we need lots of people like that in the environment, people who walk the beach on a regular basis, or take to walk around the mangroves, or go kayaking, to be able to look and to see and to recognize a bird with distress.
And even if you're just out on a walk and guess a bird may be in distress, here's what David suggests.
I tell people, if you see something unusual, and if you think you see something unusual, feel free to call.
Thankfully, there are caring people like David and his crew of volunteers, ready and willing to save our seabirds. Save Our Seabirds has been rescuing birds in our area for over 35 years. Through education, internships, and of course, actual rescues, their work benefits our community, our environment, and the birds. See how you can get involved at SaveOurSeabirds.org. Save Our Seabirds hosted a field trip for 7th graders from Laurel, Nokomis. The program teaches students the 3 R's of wild animal stewardship: rescue, rehabilitate, and release. Each student toured the facility and learned how to identify different types of birds and how to reduce injuries. Who knows? One of them may become a future naturist. This week's edition of Kids and Critters is about 2 brothers who are active in their local 4-H program, raising award-winning pigs. Here's Lauren.
Hi, Hi, I'm Lauren, and these are my friends Matthew and Britton. And who are these guys?
Luke and Willie.
Luke and Willie. They're cute. What kind of pigs are they?
Hampshire Yorkshire mix.
I can tell they're pretty friendly. How old are they?
Not even a year.
So what do you do with these guys?
We raise them up and show them for fair.
So what do you have to do to like prepare for it?
We have to walk them and every day and feed them and clean them. And
So Britton, how did you get started in 4-H?
A friend told me about it in 3rd grade. I just do pigs in 4-H, and I do a barbecue chicken cook-off at fair.
How long does it take for them to reach full size? Like how much do you feed them per day?
We feed them, right now we're feeding 4 to 5 pounds a day.
Really?
And so they're gaining about half a pound because they're eating, they gain 1 pound for every 4 pounds of food they eat. So they're gaining half a pound.
So they're growing pretty fast. Do they have, each pig, do they kind of have little personalities? You know,
We've noticed that it kind of matches the owner.
It does? So what would you say your pigs are like?
He's more friendly and crazy. And then
can't really argue.
mine's the opposite.
So he's more like relaxed? Awesome. It seems like they're definitely a lot of work. What are some things you've learned from raising them?
I've learned a lot of responsibility and leadership and helping out with other people.
They've taught me a lot of responsibility and that they really like to eat rubber boots.
Rubber boots, definitely. They've chewed up my shoes pretty good.
Every day, I think it's maybe the last thing we do. Every day we take them out into the arena that we made out there, and we walk them.
You do? Do you walk them on a leash, or
we walk them with a stick.
With a stick, and does that help like prepare for shows? So thank you guys for showing us your pigs today, and we want to thank them for being so good.
The official 4-H emblem is a 4-leaf clover with a white H on each leaf, standing for head, heart, hands, and health. Don't go away. Up next, our animal adventure. Ever see one of these guys? Probably not. We'll fill you in when we come back.
People have asked me what it'll cost to restore all the corals back the way they remember. But I have to ask them, what will it cost if we don't do anything?
For thousands of years, we've been humans' best friend. You've been through a lot, and we've been right there with you. A dog is part of the family, a confidant, and a friend who always knows how to get into your heart. So what happens to our beloved companions when we can no longer care for them? This is why we've created Dante's Den, an innovative, state-of-the-art facility that will provide care for up to 100 dogs.
Dante's Den is a community for joyful dogs.
Millions of Americans face uncertainty when planning for the future of beloved pets who may well outlive them. Dante's Den is a charitable organization, so in whatever capacity you can, please lend your support so that we may continue this most wonderful work.
Dante and I would like to thank you for watching. and for also opening up your hearts to our wonderful community of joyful dogs.
Learn about the many ways you could become involved by visiting dantesden.org.
And now, one of my favorite segments, Animal Adventures. This week, a really interesting and beautiful cat. We are back in Dade City, Florida, in one of the most beautiful sanctuaries here with Andrew Biddle, the wild transport guy. And we are with a most gorgeous cat. It is an African Serval.
Yep.
And her name is Lena.
That's right.
So tell us about this beautiful cat.
What's really cool about servals is they're one of the highest jumping cats. So their main prey is birds. So they have these really long legs, which you can't see right now because she's sitting down, but they can spring up to about 13 feet in the air and swat birds down. So that's how they hunt. Their main diet is birds. So they jump really high. It's really cool.
Known as a savanna cat, the Serval's spotted coat works as a protective camouflage in the African grasslands. They're very good hunters, as Andrew mentioned, but this camouflage helps keep them from being prey themselves to larger carnivores. But those spots have other important functions as well. Her markings are magnificent, especially in the ears. It is absolutely symmetrical.
Well, what it is that's to make it look like they have eyes. If something sees them from behind, they think maybe that their eyes are watching them, so they can't be ambushed from behind, because they're not one of the larger cats from Africa.
No, but one thing I did notice, Andrew, she has got awfully big ears.
She does.
Is there a reason for that? Serval's large ears are like radar dishes that help them locate food. They listen for the movement of animals in the grasslands before they pounce. It is thought that they use their ears as much as their eyes when hunting. But there's another angle to those big ears.
Anytime they do get a bird or a small rodent or things like that, they have to worry about hyenas and jackals and lions that will maybe come and try to take their food. So they always have to be aware of their surroundings.
Lena's pretty precious and cute, so you might be thinking, a serval might make a good pet. Well, you might want to think again. So we must caution.
That's
this
right.
is not your house cat.
No, this is not a house cat at all. So when they swat you, it hurts. You look at her now and she's not too intimidating, but when they swat, it does hurt. She's got a lot of force.
Basically, a serval is still a wild animal. They need lots of space to do what they do naturally. Be a wild cat. Oh, they play. They play hard. Remember, they have teeth and claws, and they can play rough, even if they don't intend to harm you. They're very high energy and considered to be one of the best hunters in the cat world, with a 50% kill rate.
And a lot of people seek those cats because they want that exotic, extreme factor, but they just don't realize the intake and the care that they need for it.
Bottom line, servals are cute, but best left in the wild. Servals are very important to the balance of many ecosystems. Since the overpopulation of rodents poses a threat to agricultural crops and other environments, servals help keep these animal populations under control, since they are a food source for these cats. Sadly, due to the loss of habitat and hunting, servals populations are at risk. Each week, we at Animal Outtakes like to highlight an important pet in our community. This week, we had the pleasure of meeting a strong-willed dog with a face you won't soon forget. I'm here with Martha Huey and our very important pet, Guinevere. Beautiful Guinevere. Meet Guinevere, a 3-year-old English Bull Terrier. Named for the movie Camelot, this guard dog has the confidence of those twice her size.
They are hunters. Their breed was in England in probably the 1840s was when they began to seriously work on developing this breed. And they were bred to ferret out vermin in an English country garden. So they are hunters, and they will deal with anything that's going on in the backyard. Doesn't matter if it's twice their size.
Guinevere spent some time at a high-kill shelter in Miami before she was rescued, and now she spends her days calming clients at Martha's acupuncture practice. Despite her muscular build, Martha says Guinevere has a calming effect with people.
She is Miss Congeniality. And so our patients do enjoy seeing a happy, healthy, friendly dog here. And just looking at a dog with a face like this takes your mind off of anything else. Well, I think it is their affability, their joie de vivre, and the fact that they have an indomitable will. They want to be part of things, and they also like it their way. And as my dog breeder would always say, you'll come around to their point of view.
Guinevere may look calm now, but don't let her fool you.
The breed has this moment in the evening where their eyes get wild and crazy and they bunch up and they just explode, jump up in the air and race wildly around the house. And it just sets me off laughing.
Martha's advice to anyone considering a bull terrier.
Someone with the patience of Job. Someone that understands they're going to have a 2-year-old child for the rest of their lives with attitude. And someone that understands this is a very happy breed, but that they have a very strong will.
Still ahead, one of the cutest little puppies you will ever see. He's a Norfolk Terrier, and as you'll soon learn, this is a special breed. Our dog of the week is the Norfolk Terrier, and I sat down with 2 of the cutest guys around, along with their owner, Linda Myers. So here we have Nelson, who's 6.
Yes,
And how old is our little ducky?
he's 10 weeks old.
Oh my goodness, you're such a baby.
To have a Norfolk Terrier, you definitely have to have time for them. They need to be busy. They need something to do because they are ratters.
Now, a ratter is an actual term for a dog that catches, you guessed it, rats. I was curious about another ratter with a similar name, the Norwich Terrier, and I wondered if there is a difference.
Although they originally started off coming from the same dogs.
Then in 1964, the Kennel Club reclassified the drop ear variety as its own breed, the Norfolk Terrier, and the prick-eared variety retained the name Norwich Terrier. Originally bred in Britain, these little wire-coated dogs have a life expectancy of 8 to 14 years, with some living as long as 17 years of age. I wondered what makes the Norfolk Terrier so endearing.
They get along well with children. They're so in tune to you. If they know when you're sad, they know when you're happy. If you're having a day that you just want to settle down, they settle down right with you.
Now, I would think another quality that would be very endearing would be the fact that you're portable. I could put you under my arm, in my purse, and I could take him anywhere, couldn't I?
Yes, they're very popular for that. People that have them fly all over with them.
Well, I can see why you might just have to go in my pocketbook, huh? Thank you for bringing us these beautiful dogs.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Norfolks are the smallest of the working terriers, reaching a height of about 9 to 10 inches and a weight of 11 to 12 pounds. But don't let their size fool you. They are known to be fearless little dogs with quite an independent streak. That's one adorable little puppy. But we're not done yet. We've got advice from the doctor when we come back.
For thousands of years, we've been humans' best friend. You've been through a lot, and we've been right there with you. A dog is part of the family, a confidant, and a friend who always knows how to get into your heart. So what happens to our beloved companions when we can no longer care for them? This is why we've created Dante's Den, an innovative, state-of-the-art facility that will provide care for up to 100 dogs.
Dante's Den is a community for joyful dogs.
Millions of Americans face uncertainty when planning for the future of beloved pets who may well outlive them. Dante's Den is a charitable organization, so in whatever capacity you can, please lend your support so that we may continue this most wonderful work.
Dante and I would like to thank you for watching and for also opening up your hearts to our wonderful community of joyful dogs.
Learn about the many ways you could become involved by visiting dantesden.org.
Over 90% of the seafood that is coming in to this country is raised in areas of the world that don't have the highest standards. And so our approaches are aimed for two things. One is to help feed the world. The second is to do it in an environmentally friendly and sustainable way.
Each week, we want to know what questions you have about your pets. Quite often, people want to know what they're supposed to do when it comes to cleaning their dog's teeth. Well, here's what Dr. Anne Chauvet thinks.
That's a very good question. Cleaning teeth in dogs and cats is actually something that should be done every day, like you and I. In most situations, it's usually the sugars in the food that cause damage and tartar, and we do like to feed our dogs a bunch of stuff. People like to say it's a canned food, but not necessarily, although there's a lot of sugars in the canned food as well, carbohydrates. Okay. So the rule of thumb is when you have a young animal or you start getting an animal in your life, you want to get them used to not only having their feet handled for nail trims, but also having their mouth handled. And you want to start scrubbing their teeth. You use a baby toothbrush, usually kind of very, very soft, or you can use specialized dog-cat toothbrushes. So how often do you go to the veterinarian to get them clean? That usually depends on the animal. If you have certain breeds like Yorkshire Terrier that are very predisposed, or Chihuahua, to having bad teeth or bad hygiene in their gums, you may have to go more often than if you have, for example, a Labrador. Again, there's a generalization. It depends on the breed, it depends on what they eat, it depends on their overall health, and it depends on the care you give them. Because teeth health can also represent the general body health.
That just about wraps it up for this week. We hope you've learned something about animals, and we thank you for joining us. Be safe, be kind, and don't forget our animal friends. I'm Marcia Panucci. See you next week.
You gotta hold it, Lena.